Hello and welcome to Finextra. I'm Thea George and I'm here with Laurence Leyden from SAP. We're at Sibos 2017 in Toronto and we're talking about open banking. Laurence, thank you for joining me.
My pleasure, Thea.
Open banking is coming. What role do you see APIs playing in the secure exchange of financial data?
So I think it's interesting maybe to take a step backwards when you look at APIs. Some people think it's the solution for everything. And what I believe is that there are some core processes that you need to get absolutely right. There are some things that probably in your existing environment are working pretty well. And the idea then is to say, how do we bring those all together with the elements that you need to ensure that you have a seamless process for those elements that you want to deal with your customer? So for example, if you had a great customer interaction, how do you now bring in things like risk to a real-time event? How do you bring in understanding of the customer of one into that real-time environment? And those are things that APIs can be really helpful in bringing that all together into a cohesive way of approaching the customer.
Okay, so shifting from the technology side to the business side, one thing we're hearing consistently here is it really is time for banks to reinvent their business models in light of open banking. Would you agree with that?
Yes, I would. And I think one of the themes that we see here, especially at Sibos, is banking is not just about the process of banking. It's understanding how the end-to-end customer need is dealt with. And I think the really forward-thinking banks now are saying, how do we take those processes, how do we enrich them, how do we make sure that those customers feel that they're really valued, how do we make sure the businesses are not just sold products, they actually feel that they have a valued partnership with their bank, for example, and then how do we use the open APIs to enrich that outside the boundaries of the bank. So it's how you bring together the various players like fintechs, the banks, and other industries as well, and making that seamless process which is for the benefit of your customer in the end.
So if we're agreed that business models need to change, what do you think might be some of the new business models that emerge?
So I think fundamentally we need to maybe look at what the real purpose of your organization is and then seeing how you're going to meet the customer needs in the future. And we're able to do that now, I think, with much more integrated technologies and the real understanding that we're not providing products, we're actually there to make our customers' lives better, or our customers' lives better in some cases. So what's the real purpose of your organization, and how do you make that seamless at a very good cost point for your customers that can be passed on, and then making sure that need is executed in a way that you have visibility of, so things like blockchain come into it, and it's ethical as well. So again, some customers are now looking at the efficacy of their supply chain, making sure that there are ethical components to it. We're making sure now that when a supply chain is executed, that we know throughout the whole of that process that it was at the right temperature, it arrived at the right time, and that we can make a payment successfully on the basis of those elements. So really making sure that we have not just execution of products and execution of transactions, but we're really meeting customer needs in a way that customer wants us to respond to them.
This has been great, Laurence. Thank you very much indeed.
Thanks, my pleasure, Thea.
And thank you for watching.